Hey everyone, my name is Mike Vaughn. I'm a writer at Geek Vibes Nation, and I'm also the author of The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema. But we are doing a review on the shit show that is Winnie the or wow, cut that. It's not Winnie the Pooh. It's just um Pooh, Blood and Honey. And I'm not alone, of course. I have Jeff Ewing, who writes for Slash Film, Looper, um, is our amazing creator on and host of Humanoids from the Deep Dive, which is a podcast that Jeff created and hosts, and I occasionally lend my voice to when he will have me. So
You're the best.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm really excited because like I feel like you and I are on so much of the same page with a lot of things. And
Yep.
we're both horror geeks, scholars, miscreants.
When it calls for it.
That's a good word. I
That's
feel
a
like
good word.
I feel like it's your hat. Your hat is making me think of like old-timey uh Dickensian.
Oh, you can't tell, but there's like razor blades around it, by where the Peaky Blinders. So
Nice.
you never know when
I've
Piglet's
not
gonna sneak up.
Yeah, I have not seen that. Is that good?
It's good. It's good.
Um well, we're gonna talk about something not good, and that is Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yeah.
Which is like a big steaming pile of poo, and hopefully it doesn't have blood and honey in it. Because then
Hopefully not.
you might need to get that checked out. But yeah, so you're the guest, so I want to start with just have you kick it off with your thoughts.
Well, hey, first of all, thanks for having me. For folks watching this, Mike and I go back pretty far, and I'm so glad to be able to have an opportunity to support your stuff,
Yeah.
and talk with you on your turf. Love it.
I think this is
Uh,
the first time that I've had you on my show, right?
yeah. Because like I keep the work late. What are you gonna do? Uh, but my thoughts. So uh, First of all, at the very least, the title is not lying to you in the plus column.
Mhm.
There's a lot of blood, quite a bit of honey. So I was really worried because I'm like, if they cheapen up my sweeteners, I'm gonna be pissed. But no, we're good on that score. Lots of viscous fluids of all kinds. Uh, so that's something in the plus column. Uh, I don't know how in depth you want me to go now. So I'll start out by saying this. Other things that I like, because that's the smaller list. I thought the gore effects were pretty good.
Hmm.
I know they were working extremely limited, under 100,000 budget, but a lot of the gore, not all of it, but a lot of it looked good. A lot of the practical effects for it looked good. And even though we'll probably get more in depth on this, Mike, I'm so proud to say, co-hosts with me on a monster podcast, Humanoids from the Deep Dive, as you said. And so always, I think about the costuming, I think about the effects and the realism that go into the creatures. I love the idea of being like, no, these aren't imaginary friends. They're like crossbreed hybrid beasts. And I'm like, cool. Give them to me. They're guys in masks. They don't attempt to hide that they're guys in masks. They're obviously guys in masks doing guys in masks stuff. But the actual masks, I would like it if they had more articulation and moved a little more organically. As I'm sure, Mike, you noticed. You've also watched every other horror film with a beast mask in it. Um, but I don't hate them though. They're
Yeah.
actually pretty cool designs. They do look inhuman. The fact that they don't really look real, just they look not real enough to give it a layer of unsettlingness that's kind of cool to look at. And so if they were the masks used in a movie where masked killers had those masks and that was what they were supposed to be, I'd be like, nailed it. But for this one, they didn't do any other attention to detail to actually make the beasties work and look like something other than like a big dude in a mask.
Yeah.
And that's unforgivably lazy given this is what your movie is. And those things would be cheap. They wouldn't even cost you money. Like,
Yeah.
but then, I have lots of other issues with like the pacing and the writing and the focus and the structure and the sound design. But that's me for now. So that I don't monopolize, because good Lord, there's just a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, so I will also start with some things that I did like, because I and I know you're the same way, like I mean, nobody sets out to make a bad movie. So I try to like find some positives to say. So I will say that like special effects are great.
Yeah.
I think the way this is shot is so stylish. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
times that it almost looks like a Euro art house film.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the way they use like key lighting, and even like the production design with some of like the sets and stuff were like really like pretty cool. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are some like lazy things, like the sign for 100 Acre Woods was looked really janky.
It looks janky.
Like it's not all like, so I hate to put that caveat, but like there was some pretty like good production design, and then there's also like some very not good production design. But I will say they at least gave it a really nice atmosphere. Like I could tell that they like wanted to try to do something
Mm-hmm.
that was like scary and atmospheric. But like my biggest thing was, and I don't know if you've had the displeasure of seeing the mean one.
No, the Grinch one? No,
Yeah.
I had a shot, but I was like, I don't have the time.
Yeah, well, you're the lucky one there, but that one, like I compare the two because like this one takes itself way too serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's it's so weird, and I don't think this is a spoiler, but like I think it's really weird when you have this like absurd premise of like these characters, cartoon characters basically, come to
Mm-hmm.
life killing people, but then you have like things like PTSD and stalking and sexual abuse.
Yeah,
Like,
because sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but there's this scene that it's a very light spoiler because it talks about a scene that's like not in the trailer, but it's not consequential at all, really. There's a scene where one of the characters, because there's these women that are staying in this cabin, and that's what puts them in the proximity of the 100 Acre Wood, right? And one of them's talking about the weird experience she's had there, and she's like, "Oh, I hear these footsteps at the cabin at night," and everyone's like, listening to her. This is pretty early, and something's in the house, and like your brain goes, did you get stalked by these beasties you're gonna encounter? And like it was like a Jaws thing where like you see the fin and then it swims away and then there's a shark, but it's the wrong shark. Like is it like one of those things? Like, no, a dude, like a dude, creeped into the house and is trying to like, I won't make light of this, but he's trying to like undress one of the women while she's sleeping
yeah,
as an earlier story where she's there by herself. And it doesn't contribute to, can I swear on here?
sure.
Okay. It doesn't do shit. Like it doesn't advance the story. It doesn't develop the characters. It's a needless uh suggestion of a type of sexual assault and danger that doesn't do shit for the story.
Yeah.
And they could have had it been like, oh, these things have been in your house, which would have been kind of like cool, because then it shows that they were already like planning on targeting you.
Yeah.
But and then so it's just like a needless use of something grotesque when like it doesn't even serve the
Yes,
story.
absolutely. I am a million percent with you there. And here's what I thought. Whenever they first introduce, I can't even remember, is it Maria? I think is her
Yep.
character name.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was like, oh, maybe that's the sister of Christopher Robin, and she's gonna go like look for him.
I was thinking that maybe
But no, it just turns out to be
just
dumber than
people.
that. Um,
Yeah, they're just humans.
and I, like I said in my review, I'm not sure if my review is going up first or this video is going up first, but I talk about how like you literally could have any reason for the like a group of women to go up to that like cabin
You
or
don't
whatever.
even need one. She's like,
Yeah,
bachelor party. Woo!
right. And
Great.
like there you go, you saved. I mean, it's like you literally like it's it's like it's overcomplicating something that doesn't need to be
Yeah.
complicated.
Yes. And then the other unfortunate thing is like about the that scene that we just talked about is there's a scene that's very Rob Zombie-esque. Later, I won't spoil what happens, but um other than to say that two of the female I think two, one or two, at least the main female protagonist is she's on this road and something is chasing her and she runs into this truck full of just the worst characterization of Rob Zombie-esque hillbillies that I have ever seen
Mhm.
outside of a Rob Zombie film. Like the accents are bad. It's not great. But so she encounters them and you think like, is this gonna be, because they even like kind of look like how they cast and made the guy for the prior scene. You're like, all right, what are you gonna do right now? But the guys are completely legit to her the whole time. Like they might be stereotypes or whatever, but they're definitely not that stereotype. And they treat her with respect and they take her concerns seriously and they attempt to be like protective in a non-creepy way. So they could have been really good on that subject and then biffed it for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. It's like the tone is so weird, the
Mm-hmm.
pacing's really weird. Like it almost feels like it's it almost feels like it wants to be a horror movie, but it also feels like it is constantly apologizing for it being a horror movie because
Yeah.
it's like trying to be like deeper and like I don't know. I just wanted like a really stupid, fun 80s-esque kind of slasher movie.
Well, and they
Um,
get close to it in some parts. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
So I'm curious, what was your screening like? Was it mine was nearly empty.
Yeah, mine was like a third full, I think.
Mm. Um,
Um, and then when it ended, people were just like, because
it just ends.
it just isn't anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Um, no, I think like one of the things that gets me, two things that I really am bothered by in this movie, otherwise. One, I hate the structure of it because like if you watch the trailer, it has the setup. Oh, this is Christopher Robin, and he has his history with these things, and he goes back to 100 Acre Wood, and they're like super mad. Great, but then if you watch the trailer, it'll also show a bunch of women being killed. These are the women from the friend group. Um, but when you're actually watching the movie, it's like this cold open with Christopher Robin. I won't spoil everything that happens, but then they do the title, and then it introduces the main character of this friend group. They have no connection to the Christopher Robin thing in the beginning at all, and that follows them for almost the entire time until like it feels like two different movies. Like they had two different drafts of the script that are completely different with different characters and different setups, and they just shuffled them awkwardly together, or they shoved like a big chunk of one in the middle of the other, and we're like, should we do it through a draft? Nah, like that's what I felt like. And it feels weird because like it doesn't even advertise really the right movie because if you look at all the official descriptions, everything, it talks about a story that you don't super see.
Yeah.
And it doesn't talk about the movie that it is. And I get not spoiling everything, but also that's dumb. It's bad. It's
Yeah. And I hate to say this, but whatever accent Christopher Robin was doing was like beyond weird. Christopher
yeah,
Robin.
yeah. Piglet, please don't. Piglet,
And
please.
it's like really weird because like he's like talking to his wife. And first of all, I have to say, like, he's got the most supportive, understanding wife in maybe movie history.
She's the greatest. She's just everyone
Because
should have one of her in their life.
if my husband was like all of a sudden like, I had these like forest friends and I think we should go find them, I'd be like, maybe we should find you a
Yeah,
doctor.
because we're about to get married, and like, wait, so maybe we should find you a psychologist before we get married,
Yeah.
like you're saying. Uh,
Um
yeah, she's great. I don't know.
that actor that plays Christopher Robin though, like, and the dialogue doesn't do it any favors because
No.
like I don't know if you, because like this is still pretty fresh in my head, and I can't wait to scrub it out, but like he mentions like a couple times like the same thing. He's basically like saying like, oh, we used to play together, we were like best friends and stuff, and he like mentions some variation of that like three times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, we get it. Like, fuck.
Right. And then another thing that doesn't do him any favors, because like he's trying, he's genuinely trying to be emotive and whatever, but like you're saying, the dialogue doesn't really
Yeah.
help. But then another thing that doesn't help is there are major pacing problems. Because they'll have a scene where it's like, okay, someone enters a scene, pause. It cuts to one of the villains, pause. They turn to the protagonist, pause. The protagonist sees that they're by someone that's in danger. They scream, pause. That person pauses and then notices a scream and then pause. And then, like, it's literally like that. There's so much in an attempt to build suspense. There's so much like cuts that are too long or unnecessary, or and you even see that in the dialogue because even in the very first one, like your introduction to the film, uh it's just like he'll say something and then it'll linger on him for no reason, just doing nothing, just like standing. And then like it will cut to like Winnie the Pooh, just standing. And then not doing anything, not inching closer, just like, and then like it'll cut back to him and he'll say the line again. I'm like, why are you like this?
Yeah. Um, I will say there was one sight gag that really did get me in a funny way. And it was like Eeyore's grave had his little tail.
That was really funny.
That was good. I was
That was
like,
funny. There's also I don't really like I don't tend to like movies where they have like we're watching a movie and then someone's watching their phone. Normally that's dumb. But one of the characters is like taking selfies and then notices like what the fuck is that in the background, and she like opens up and sees that like one of the villains was like watching her from afar, and the way that they do it's actually like really kind of funny and nice. So like
yeah. Yeah, it's such a shame because I mean, even watching with an audience, I thought, well, this will be cool because even if it kind of sucks, maybe we'll get like a hyped up crowd. You know
yeah,
how that can work where it's like an okay movie, but if you see it with the right, but like this was a snooze fest. Like there was
yeah,
no, like we had some kids that were like more bored and being obnoxious than really getting into the
right.
um so yeah,
Yeah,
it's a shame.
definitely like a wasted opportunity, I think.
Yeah, and you know, I was kind of curious what you thought of this, but like, am I remembering this correctly? In the animation, which I think that was pretty cool, but um, the animation, like, wasn't there other like Owl and some of the other
Yeah, and
ones?
Rabbit.
Yeah. Like, did they just not have the budget for any
That,
other?
that's what I think. I think like either they couldn't do anymore or like they're probably just like, how the fuck are we gonna do an owl? Like,
Like, we broke the bank on these masks that don't move, but yeah.
yeah, I kind of feel like it was like that. And I like the opening animation, but then like when they close out the cold open with one, I was like, well, really? Because that wasn't like good animation. Like the beginning was good and the narration
Yeah.
was nice. And then I'm just like, why are you breaking the action with animation if you're never going to do it again?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's just so many like it's just interesting when you were saying about how like things felt like two different movies, because I think I even like wrote in my review that like there's things that feel almost like either there were scenes cut for time,
Mm,
or there was like elements from earlier drafts that kind of made it into the film, like the final, because
yeah, yeah,
like they're like there's characters that are kind of set up to be like big important characters that you kind of get
yeah.
to know, but you never do. Like you
Yep. Yeah,
um
like none of and they're not even given they're not set up in a way where like it's not paid off. You don't really follow them, like you're saying. And then also like you're it when they are on screen, a lot of the characters are not given anything interesting to do.
yeah.
So like they're not memorable, really.
Yeah, I mean, you could not. I just saw it the other night, and I only know the main actor because I looked her up, and I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's But
And then also Christopher Robin's like wife's name is Mary, and then the lead of the friends is Maria. I'm like, you couldn't even diversify the names. But like there's it's just a whole lot of the elements that needed more attention to detail,
yeah.
period. Like more on the costumes, more attention to detail, and like the pacing of the edit to the sound design. You could have layered the sound effects and make it feel more lived in, you know? You could spend a little more time tweaking the dialogue. Uh, Case in point, one thing that I noticed when I was like sitting through the credits, because you never know, maybe something will happen. I've seen too many Marvel movies. Uh, and but I was watching the credits roll by, and it says principal photography, which is you'll see that all the time. But it's like Princeple, not Principal. So it's like moral principle, not principal photography.
Oh my God.
So
Wow.
in the credits, released in theaters. So
That's amazing. Like it it makes me think about was Drive-In Massacre, but for the trailer they misspelled massacre.
ooh,
Amazing. Um if
yeah,
y'all
oh,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, no, sorry. I was just gonna say if y'all want a treat, try to find Drive-In Massacre. It is such a great bad movie. But um
Oh,
this, you know, I kind of hoped this would cross that barrier into so bad it's good, but it never does.
yeah, because I feel like there are some scenes, like some of the gore scenes, where like, oh, this is gonna go full camp, and then it just doesn't, and then scenes last too long, and then there's a lot of missed potential. Like I came in thinking like, okay, well, are they gonna use like Winnie the Pooh esque? It's like blood and honey. Are they going to use things that like are kind of subversion of innocent things associated with those characters for kills? Like, is there going to be like a big jar of honey and Pooh drowns someone in it? That'd be fucking baller.
Oh my God, yeah.
No, they
Um,
don't. Never do they use any of those types of things.
Also, I thought at one point he was summoning bees.
Yeah, you threw bees at a guy somehow.
I was like, why did nobody die from being like stung to death,
Yeah, if he like controls bees,
like my
which
girl style, right?
yeah, or like like use it more too. Like, um, I don't know. There's just so many missed opportunities. I feel like if they had just spent more time on so many things,
Yeah.
then I feel like we'd be at the camp level because it would never be Casablanca. But it like I think if they just made it a little bit better and then done it in black and white, so it's kind of fine that it looks like a person in a mask,
Yeah.
like the Fly 58, you know? Great, cool. Sign me up. I'll buy the Scream Factory. Like,
That's why I'm saying like it almost feels like it's like leans into the horror tropes in a bad way, but then it also feels like it never wants to like go full like absurd and fun with it. So it feels like
mm,
again, like it feels like it just wants to be bleak and depressing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I
Um
feel like because it feels kind of like two films. I feel like if it had picked either one of those stories and really drawn out the implications of it, that would help too.
yeah.
Um, and I'm not gonna say too much more on that because it'd have to get into spoiler territory, but um, I feel like that's a missed opportunity as well.
Yeah. And I mean again, I feel like he should have summoned bees more and had just people
100% he should
like
have summoned bees more.
I mean, you could have done like the full Nicolas Cage, not the
Not
breeze.
the bees, not the bees. No,
um
seriously, like similarly, like, you could have them like hole up in the house. This never happens. They could barricade themselves in the house like Home Alone style, right? Like after the person sees the thing, which would have been smart thing to do. And then it'd be hilarious if Pooh just like summons bees in the house and it just drives them out casually. That would be so cool. Did they do anything like that? No.
just it's so weird at every turn from every aspect of the movie. Like,
Yeah. Well, and I know that they're supposed to be like hybrids or whatever, but like they use very human methods of murder,
mm,
Like they,
yeah,
they don't use the attributes of monstrosity. They use the types of things that like it's like Michael Myers in a pig mask, but like less interesting, you know?
yeah.
Like
And like the pig kind of looked like, was it Bebop or Rocksteady? That's like the warhog.
uh which one is it? I think it's Bebop, but I'm not sure.
I
But you're
mean
right though.
it kind of was giving me that, but
It's a warthog.
yeah. Um
Yeah, like that is
so
no piglet, sir.
yeah, I don't know. Like I think like with Piglet, it would have been like kind of cool if they did something like cute but fucked up looking
Mm-hmm.
instead of just going full like I mean, I think I mean because like the poo design is like fucked up looking, but like
Yeah.
also kind of like still a little bit adorable.
Well, yeah, because like Pooh looks kind of fucked up, but kind of adorable. Because it doesn't totally look like a bear
Yeah.
that we would know, but and it acts like a human, kind of. But like it's a little bit weird if you think about it. And it captures that well. But then like Piglet was always like small and cute.
Hmm. And I think that there's a way, like I get conceptually why you would want to like go the route that they did, but like
Mm.
I don't know. I still feel like there could be like a cool twisted um like smaller version of that that still kind of I mean, yeah, it looked basic
It
compared
it
to
did.
Pooh.
It did. And also I think like you're right, if they change the dynamics, because like you just have like two hulking guys that are wearing animal masks, right? But if you made Piglet stand out more, it would have a really different dynamic, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And I feel like did it feel and I feel like I know we're at the point where we're thinking about this way more than the filmmakers did, but like I never also got the like that there was a hierarchy between the two.
No,
Like I feel like
not
Pooh should
really.
have been the top, Piglet could have been the bottom, like a Dom sub situation going on.
Yeah, it
um
kind of feels like that. Like, what do they do for recreation before these people got there?
I mean, it's
You know
what
what? Sometimes you want to get 100 acre good. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I mean, listen, whatever happens in the woods, uh, you know, happens in the woods. But gosh, yeah, it's just so bad though. And I feel bad shitting on like someone's movie, but it just was so misguided. I feel like it just exists because they're like, okay, we'll get free publicity because it's like edgy Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, like literally, it's very obvious what happened was it's like Winnie the Pooh is public domain, and they're just like, quick, quick, pump it out, pump it out, pump it out, be the first, be the first. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
obviously, that's what happened. And if they had spent, it's disappointing because if they had spent, you know, more attention to any part of it,
Yeah.
it would be better. And if they just slightly tweaked all of those things, it wouldn't even cost them extra money. It would
Yeah.
be a
Like,
much better movie.
I mean, yeah, and like again, like you could take out the scenes of like the cringy abuse,
Sure.
and it would not only like save you money because you wouldn't have to have that scene, but
Mm-hmm.
also like it just
It's a
will
whole actor
flow
you don't need.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Like,
but
maybe more a streamlined narrative, which is nice in a horror movie, honestly.
yeah, but this just felt so cynical. I mean, you're spot on. It just felt like they wanted to be the first. It's like in Jurassic Park, they wanted to get there, they wanted to package it,
Yep.
but just because you can doesn't mean you should.
No, I know. And it's just kind of and like the director's giving interviews like, oh well, like next one we're gonna try and get like 5 times the budget. Like that's nice, but like I hate to even think like this, but the problem with the movie is not that you didn't have a lot of money. The problem with the movie, like literally all of them, are because you didn't, at the end of the day, you wanted to be first. You didn't totally give a fuck about quality.
Well, I mean, look, you give these like there's huge films that cost hundreds of millions of dollars and they're crap, right?
Yep. Happens all the time.
Because they're working from a foundation that is crap.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what the budget is. Yeah, I did see that when I put this on Letterbox that there's already an entry for part 2. I
Yeah.
was like, no thanks, I'm good.
I feel like I've done this to myself once. I would like to see like Owl, but I don't necessarily want to see theirs. Hurts my feelings to say.
I mean, I feel like since this is in public domain, I feel like you and I could write a much better.
Yes, I've no doubt at all. The only thing that they really got right in this was like the gore. They actually like they prioritized that and
Yeah.
masks that they may have needed to do more around the characters, but the masks were not terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you at least you do want to focus on those things, and they got that kind of in the
Yeah.
direction of right.
The masks were good, but you're right. Like they needed to be articulate
Yeah.
for it to really work. But I kind of gave that a pass because like I get like budget constraints.
Yeah, I did too. Like I feel like they did obviously detail went into them, like the mask creators did really well at shaping inhuman looking masks with what was probably given to them, like in
Uh,
terms of like budget and time.
I would kind of love, and I mean, it's like not public domain yet, and nor will it be anytime soon, but like a horror movie Shrek would be amazing.
That'd be kind of baller, actually.
Like I would want that like immediately, but not from this director.
Yeah, just like please don't give them that idea. Maybe we
But
it's your show, but maybe we cut that out of the episode just so they don't do it. Not just like, ooh,
um
ooh, fantastic.
yeah, it's oh, it's so bad. And like, yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to like, I mean, I wasn't interested enough to like interview the director, but I haven't really read any reviews, so it would be interesting to see like what his justifications for certain things are.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I mean, it's money. That's what the
Yeah.
motive is.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's all sorts of other little problems too. Like a lot of it, and a lot of them are technical, where like it'll sound like the dialogue's being spoken in a faraway room, and it's like roomy, you
Hmm.
know? And then like, because I have a background in post production, and I've worked with like building audio layers and stuff for videos, um and like you can tell that the sound effects were just like they waited for one thing to hit and they put one sound effect. They didn't layer anything. They didn't like build like an atmosphere around it. They were just like boom. So it's like nothing. And like that's it. And like they just needed more care in all these different technical categories too.
Yeah. And I mean, again, it's like, I mean, it's baffling because I mean, there are elements that do have care around
Yeah.
it. So it's hard for me to say that they like completely didn't give a shit, but it, still the end result is not good. So um
Nope.
so yeah, I feel like that kind of sums up everything that I have to say about the dumpster fire that is
Yeah.
Pooh, Blood, and Honey.
Yeah. I don't really have it in me to think about it anymore. I think
Yeah. No, I feel
because
like
it's just not fun.
we talked about, I feel like we worked it out more than probably any human alive.
Yeah, because there's honestly there's not much really. Like
Yeah.
there's not really because it's not deep, you know?
No.
Like there isn't yeah, I feel like we walked it out more than anybody else is getting anything out of it.
Yeah, so that's the final word on this movie. I'm gonna
Yes.
wipe it from my brain as soon as my review's in, and that's, I mean, honestly, like, this is a movie that I will immediately forget about.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Did
Right.
we record something?
I'm like missing a whole chunk of time. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I remember driving to the theater and I blacked out and I was home.
Um, yeah, it's for the best, really. So
I'm gonna go watch like Wishmaster is what I'm gonna go like just like let the campiness push it out of your head.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was even like, as much as this like sucks, I have to have like something as like a palate cleanser of
You
what this
chaser.
movie. Yeah, like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I think is like the
Ooh.
perfect like cross section of
Mm-hmm.
campy horror, but then there's some like legit creepy, unsettling
That's
shit in
good.
that.
That's solid.
So like
Um,
that was sort of like the movie that I had to like help push this out of my brain a little bit.
I think that's great. I'll tell you what was mine. I watched the Mike when I got home.
Which one?
Yeah. He's got this new show on Hulu called I think it's Connect is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Um, it's got some like Blades of the Immortal, like this this guy runs afoul of some organ harvesters. Uh and so they do the bad thing, right? And then his eye goes in the head of like a serial killer. And then I don't know why yet, because I haven't watched a ton of it, but these like red spindles come out of his cuts and whatever and like reconstitute him. So he's like immortal basically.
Nice.
And it's real creepy and gross and trippy and Mickey-ish. It's fun.
Nice. Okay.
And
I'm definitely
yes,
gonna watch that.
you're gonna love it. Folks watching, you're gonna love it. It's super fun so far. I don't know if it keeps being that great, but it's Mike, so probably. And then so like he keeps getting like flashes of vision from this eye of his that's in another guy's head. That's the serial killer. So he has to try and figure out the cops are hunting the serial killer and he's hunting the serial killer and people are hunting him. And it's a good time and it's really gross and it's super gory and it's really fun.
Nice. Well, I'm sold.
Yeah,
I might even try like check out a couple episodes maybe tonight yet.
do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So where can everybody find you?
I'm still on Twitter at Real Jeff Ewing, REEL, for at least the time being. Because I'm gonna rule from the ashes. You'll swear in it now. But I do a lot of reviews and some other writing for Slash Film. I interview a lot for Looper, and I have a review, my very first review for Inverse of this movie coming out in the next couple of days. So other than that, you can find me on Humanoids from the Deep Dive. Once I fix my computer, episodes will start coming out again every other Monday. So that's where you can find me.
That is awesome. I was like thinking that like we should get you, me, and Andre and have our little humanoid GVN crossover.
I love it. I'm always down for a crossover. We just got to
Um,
find the right thing and then like count me in.
hell yeah. Well, we will work on that, but you folks know where to find me. All my socials are in the description. Jeff, I will have all your info there as well. And I implore you to check out everything that this fine gentleman writes and puts out because it's amazing. And
Thank you so
Humanoids
much.
is such a fun podcast that I've been very grateful to be a part of. So
Oh, I gotta say, it's so nice to hear that because folks, we're kind of like a little monster family. I basically just found people that I'm like, oh, you seem to know a whole lot and be real passionate and cool about stuff I think is great. Um, do you want to like stop by my show? And then, my Mike's, I've been fortunate enough to stick around. And
oh,
it's
yeah.
been like what, a year and a half?
Yeah. Actually,
Gotta find your first episode.
Creature from the Black Lagoon was the first episode that I was on.
Yes. Yeah, because I was Creature is one of my favorite movies of all time. Gilman is one of the best creature designs of all time. And I knew from interacting with you online, I'm like, oh, you love it too. I know that. So like we gotta have cool people on this episode because it meant a lot to me. We've been friends ever since.
Hell yeah. That's like I mean, listen, that's like the perfect way to meet, really. Um,
Seriously.
but I always thought there should be a dating app that just, you put movies you love and then you connect with people that like vibe with those movies.
Yeah, we need to talk to Letterboxd.
Here you go.
Like I like The Thing and Mike and Schlock. Like, hello.
Nice to meet you. All right, well that will do it. But again, thank you so much. And don't watch Pooh and Honey. Watch the Mike thing that you were talking about instead.
Yeah, just any Mike. Just watch any Mike
There you
instead.
go. Audition. Perfect.
Audition. Honestly, better date night.
There you go. All right. And as always, I'm gonna do my obligatory like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you for hanging out with us.